Hey, Mr. Nchumbonga. You're welcome again.
His Imperial Majesty.
Yep. Good to have you here.
Achankeng I,
Yeah.
the distinguished professor.
Yeah.
Well, an honor to be in your highly impressive palace, annex.
Thank you.
Thank you for having permitted me to come in.
You're welcome. It's cold. I don't know how you decided to come here at Christmas.
Well, whether it's cold or warm,
It's so cold outside with tons of snow.
it's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
You're a man of great wisdom.
Thank you. Please sit down.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So I came all the way, long miles to come, and I was here 3 years ago.
Yes.
For an exclusive interview.
I remember.
But in the past 3 years, you have published a lot of books, articles, written, and you have climbed to the highest level of professorship.
Yes.
So I'm here again to update my interview, our research on you.
Thank you.
That's my objective.
Yep. I became a distinguished professor, as you might have heard.
Yes.
Which is the apex.
Wow. The summit.
Of academia, yeah. Because you can't go anywhere again after that.
Wow.
Most people think that when you become a full professor, that is it.
Okay, there's more to.
You can go again.
You need to write,
And
publish.
I was blessed.
Okay.
To get to that level. This 2024.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
His Imperial Majesty.
Thank you.
Achankeng I. It has not been an easy work.
No.
Sacrifice.
No.
Reading, writing.
Nothing good comes easy. They say. Or bongo sequence.
Your palace is impressive, magnificent.
Maybe it's because it's Christmas time.
Okay.
You came at Christmas.
No, I think it's just beautiful. The furniture, everything has a meaning. You know, you're a custodian of culture, and I can see that from your seat and the things you have around you. I would appreciate if you could take me around the palace.
All right.
Please.
Thank you. Welcome. Well, I'll show you around a little bit.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, this is the main hall.
Okay.
Of the palace. Sometimes when there is a little noise out here, I like to stay in my coffee room.
Okay, it's called the coffee room.
Yes.
Oh wow. You have really quiet space in here.
Yeah, there is space.
See that?
Yes. This is the coffee room.
Okay.
I sit here and watch TV.
I see.
Sit down. Yeah.
I see. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I sit here and watch TV. And,
Yes.
while the noise is going on out there, I'm right in here.
Wow.
And I can take my coffee in peace and
In
quiet.
peace.
And quiet.
Wow.
Right.
I love the pictures around. They're so beautiful. The tiger,
Right.
the cross. You know, this,
everything seems to be symbolic
that's what I see.
of traditional power. Yes.
Wow.
Thank you.
In a nutshell, could you talk to us about the tiger? Is that a tiger?
Yeah,
or
well,
a leopard?
that's a leopard. That's the totem
Okay.
of kingship in African tradition. Or most African traditions. Totem is the leopard, which we call the tiger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can find it all over the place.
Yes, I can see that on the floor, the
Everywhere.
skin.
Yeah.
You're the Nyatema of Atoabechied.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me take you to the Nyatema.
Oh, what an honor!
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm really privileged to live culture here. I'm really living it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please watch your step as you come down.
Oh,
We are
I see.
going
We're
down.
descending.
Yeah, we're going down the staircase.
Wow, this is impressive. Quite beautiful pictures on the walls.
Thank you.
Decorations.
Thank you.
Wow, this is impressive.
Yep. This is the inner palace.
Okay. And you said it was called Nyatema.
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 Yes.
Nyatema.
Yes.
Nyatema.
Please have a seat.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, this is Nyatema, and other. Most things here are very symbolic again, as I said.
I can see. Would you mind, in a nutshell, elucidating to me the importance of...
Right here is the late Fonkem I.
Okay, your
My
father.
predecessor, my father. Yeah, and here is with the Olota of Ota. This is the king of Ota Kingdom in Western Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, I visited with him.
Yes.
Let's see.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and out there is the late Fonkem Achankeng in Quen Palace out there.
Yes.
Here is the Font of the War.
Okay.
Yeah, and there is Achankeng of Lenyang.
Okay.
Who else again? I'm trying to look at
it. Shows that you have a lot of relationships with other.
I have lots of relationships.
Oh, that's good.
And actually, my relationships extend from South Africa all the way to the Gambia.
Wow.
I'm very connected.
International. I've seen pictures of you with the chief of Atoabechied.
Oh, right there. You can see.
Okay.
If the camera can pick up pictures with the alake of Egwalan, headquarters at Abeokuta.
That's impressive.
And the Oba of Erimokwe.
Okay.
Ekiti. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for summarizing to us briefly about the palace.
And this is the symbol.
I almost asked you about this instrument.
The gong is a symbol of Le Four.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, of the quifor. The quifor, yeah. That's the symbol.
That's impressive.
Yes.
Thank you so much, His Imperial Majesty Achankeng I, Professor Fonkem Achankeng I. So you are not just a custodian of culture, you are arrived the highest level of professorship.
Yes.
I'm so impressed.
We thank God Almighty.
And you're an encouragement to me.
We thank God Almighty. This year, after an exhaustive search and screening, I became the distinguished professor, which is about the apex of academia. Yeah, you can't get there.
Wow.
Not all full professors get there. Yeah, so we're very thankful. We're very thankful to God Almighty for that.
You make us proud.
Well, we thank God. The entire glory goes to God. Yeah.
My dear viewers, I'm here with His Imperial Majesty Fonkem Achankeng I. He's a full professor of peace and conflict scientist. He's also the Nyatema of Atoabechied and distinguished professor at the University of Wisconsin in the United States of America. I have the honor and the pleasure to be in his palace, inner palace as he calls it, which is Nchumbonga. So His Imperial Majesty Fonkem Achankeng I, I would like to begin with your birth. I would like to let's go back to the source, to your beginnings, humble beginnings. Where were you born, and what are the circumstances? That's all.
Well, I was born actually in a Sangwa.
Okay.
After the passing on of Forchet Njam the First.
Yes, I heard about it.
And that is the way dates were marked in those days, with important events. So the story goes that I was one of the first to be born after the disappearance of Forchet Njam, the first of Sawa.
I see.
In fact, we are in a group of about 3 or 4. There is Barrister Gallows Forchet in Victoria. There is Nyatema Forchet, and there is Captain Patrick Forchet. Yeah, those are people of my generation, or those are children who were born after the passing.
At that time.
At that time.
That's quite impressive. He was the grandfather of Forchet Njam the second,
who is ruling now. Yes.
Resident in Mejai.
Yeah. After him, there has been Forchet Bebongchu.
Okay.
And then Njam is second now. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you were born. Tell us about your parents in a nutshell.
Oh well, this is my father.
That's your father.
This is Fonkem Achankeng I.
Okay.
And my mother was Atemken, and my mother happened to be the 4th wife of my father.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
And my mother came from Ritsota.
Okay. I see.
I was actually named after my grandfather. The Achankeng name is after my grandfather. Where I come from, When people marry and have a first child, the first child is named after the husband's father.
Okay.
And the second child is named after the wife's father. So I was the second child, so named after my mother's father.
That's quite impressive. Thank you for letting us know. Let's go to your academic beginning. You began school 1960?
Yes.
To 63?
Yeah, I was one of the one of the pioneers of Mbindia RCM school.
Okay.
In 1960. That's true. Well, I went to school there for about 3 years.
Yes.
And then
is that father, better?
Well, that was under Mbeta parish.
Oh, okay.
The parish was in Mbeta at the time.
I see.
There was a headmaster who was around and passing by, and the late chief simply handed me over to him to bring me to the chief of where he came from. Okay. I'm not so sure my father even knew where he came from. So that's how he took me to Nsop. I actually grew up in Nsop.
Yes, that takes me to the next question. You were in Nsop from 1963 to 66, 3 years.
Yes, I was in Nsop.
Do you remember your experience in Nsop?
Oh, a lot, because those were formative years of a child. So that's where I finished elementary school.
Okay.
I sat the entrance to go to Sase College.
Yes.
And then the late chief said, no, Sase had come to Bangwa, let them bring me back to Bangwa. And that's how I came to Bangwa in 66.
Okay.
And became
one
of the pioneers
of Seat of Wisdom.
Seat of Wisdom College. I was one of the 42 students.
Wow, first batch?
Yes, first batch. We started that school.
That's impressive. And you remember your principal was Father Cunningham?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
There's an anecdote about the rice that you eat and the rice together from sleep.
What happened is that on the 13th of September,
yes,
1966, we arrived at 5 p.m.
Okay.
After settling down, we had dinner. And dinner was a big plate of rice.
Okay.
And soup.
Yes.
So, well, rice in those days was a rare commodity. And we ate rice only once a year at Christmas.
Okay.
Like this time.
Yes.
So we had hardly finished eating rice, and Father Cunningham wanted to give us what the schedule for the following day will be, which he termed the daily horarium.
In Latin?
Yeah, in Latin. So he was reading that out and said, 5:55, rice.
Yes.
I was very excited. I thought, oh, I just finished eating rice.
And
in the morning again, I'll be eating rice. I don't know how the other students felt, but for me,
you were very excited.
I was very excited that I was going to eat rice again.
Okay.
I mean, in those days, we ate rice only once.
Once a year.
Now I've just arrived to college. I just had a meal of rice.
Interesting.
And I'm hearing that I would eat rice again.
Again.
But what the Reverend Father Cunningham really meant was to rise from sleep.
Okay.
He meant getting up.
Yes.
That we would get up the following morning at 5:55.
5:55, sorry. I see. So that's an anecdote you will never forget.
No, how can I forget that?
Thank you for sharing that to us. And then from there you went to Tombell.
After I graduated.
Yeah, after graduating, 18th of Wisdom.
Yes. Well, in those days, you know, people went to Kasbambili.
Okay.
There was only one high school.
Oh, really?
I went to Tombell because there was only one high school.
Yes, sir.
And the high school admitted the best of the best, the cream of the crop. Okay. It meant that you would have at least 8 O levels at very good grades.
To be admitted.
You would sit the entrance examination. If you pass, you were admitted. We were pioneers in a village school.
Yeah.
Personally, I didn't even know about the GCE. I just knew that I was in college. Okay. And I played football all the time.
I see.
So in any case, in my class, the 1966 class, even 67 class, nobody went to CAS.
Okay.
That's why I went to Tombell to live with a cousin.
I see.
And while in Tombell, I joined a band. In college, a certain Patrick Fusong from Sase had taught us how to play the bass guitar a little bit.
I see.
So I joined a band, and I used to play in a small band in Tombell called Ringo Bar. Mm-hmm. That was my experience there until people came and pulled my ears away from there and said, no bad boy ever became somebody in life. So what are you doing here?
I see.
So I went to Chang and started teaching.
Exactly. So you were there just for a year in Tombel?
Yes.
Where you learn about band, you're a band boy, then teaching in Chang 1973 to 79.
Yes.
How was your experience there and what were you teaching?
Well, I taught English.
Okay.
To French speakers. Students, yes. I taught English. Mm-hmm.
How did you feel like as being a teacher?
Well, that was all I could do. That was all that was available. I didn't go to high school. I never saw the four walls of a high school. So I was excited that I had a little job, but most of the students I taught were a lot older than me.
Okay.
And I don't know how I survived it, but I think I was brave.
Exactly, and they respected you.
Yeah, well, they did somehow. Yeah. And it was while I was teaching there that I started studying for the advanced levels at home.
Okay.
I passed the A levels, I think, in 76, 77.
I see.
Studying on my own at home.
That's impressive. Autodidactic. You learn by yourself.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about your teaching days. How was the salary then? If you could?
Oh, nothing. Oh. The first year I earned 6,000 francs.
The first year? For 12 months?
Yes. No, not 12 months, for 9 months, because these were private schools.
Yes.
And the proprietors made sure they didn't pay you during the holidays.
Oh.
And I earned 6,000. I went home and took my younger brother. I was living with a younger brother. I was paying rent for 1,000. So I had only 5,000
left.
That was almost nothing. But the second year I went to 16,000.
Wow.
And you can't believe that I married then, that early.
Yes, that takes me to my next this next stage, family life, 1975.
Yes, I married then, and then by 76, March 76, I had my first child.
See.
So I've been very responsible for the longest I can think about.
Wow. So you have a first child in 1976, then an adventure opens up in 1979.
Before then I had my second child in 78.
Okay. The highly distinguished
the professor. Yeah, Professor
Fonkem
Fonkem, yes.
Okay.
But then I had to leave for Nigeria.
Yes, in 1979.
Yes.
Why did you have to leave for Nigeria?
Lots of things were happening. I've always been adventurous.
Okay.
I didn't want to go. Oh, well, I had taken the concours, the entrance into a Economy twice.
Okay.
Passed the entrance and didn't fail the orals.
Oh.
And I heard lots of stories about Yaoundé University, and I didn't want to go there.
Like?
They said
the marginalization, exactly. The French system, just teaching in French.
Teaching was all in French and things like that. And the stories we heard were frightening. So I decided to take an adventure and go to Nigeria, and that's how I went through Bansot, through Ndu, and down to Mbo,
by road.
Dangerous road. To Mwa.
Sleeping in the bushes.
Oh yes, to Mwa, and then to Ngembo, the first Nigerian town, and it was quite an adventure. This is all I can say.
Fearless and courageous.
Well, we had to survive.
Wow. And Nigeria in those days had been well advanced. Universities in Badang, they had a.
I think so. At the time I went to Nigeria in 79.
Yes, for.
There was Ibadan, Amadu Bello, Lagos, Ife, Benin, Maiduguri, Port Harcourt, Calabar. Yeah, they had more universities.
Yes. They were superior, farther than us.
Oh yes.
Okay.
They were.
So you arrived at
when I arrived
in Nigeria.
I joined the group of school leavers who were looking for work.
Okay.
And so we all looked for work, and so I got a job.
Yes.
Teaching French at GSS Jalingo.
Okay.
and the Advanced Teachers College, Jalingo, for 1 year, during which I sat the entrance exam, the JAM, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board.
Okay.
Unfortunately, my first choice was Ibadan, which I knew well.
Yes.
But I did not read the forms well because Ibadan did not admit through JAM in the arts.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, that's a different story. I can't tell you how I finally found myself at the University of Benin.
So finally, after a lot of struggle,
yes,
you were admitted in Benin.
In Benin. Wow. On the 10th of December.
Yes.
1980.
Okay. December.
After school had started in September.
In fact, from what I heard, from what I read, it was a day to the matriculation.
It was on matriculation day. Wow. The same day. Wednesday, December 10th, 1980. Wow. That was when my name was written in the University of Benin.
You were blessed.
Very blessed. Very, very blessed.
So tell me about the experience. I was told you had a first class honors. That's summa cum laude.
Yes. As God would have it.
Yes, what?
Even though I had arrived so late, I ended the year the best of my class and the overall best of the university, and was awarded a university scholarship for the remaining sessions.
Yes, to prepare you for a leadership position.
No, not that one yet.
No, okay.
This was a scholarship for the rest of my 3 years in the university.
Okay, I see. Yeah. That's quite impressive.
So, the last 3 years I was a university scholar. There were 3 of us.
Yes.
One of them was Raphael Okoje. Okay. From math department.
Yes.
Another one was somebody Ogun Sankin from engineering.
Okay.
And I was from the Faculty of Arts.
That's interesting.
So the 3 of us were university scholars for the remaining sessions.
So that implied free school fees, free tuition.
Free everything. And then, by God's grace, I ended up the first class.
That's quite
in the history of the University of Benin.
In the history of the University of Benin.
Yes. And my friend Batebesong used to say, that is the guy who beat me in the university.
I see. That's interesting. So, the late, very famous Batebesong, the great literature.
The writer, yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, because he had a 2-1, second class upper division.
Okay.
I had a first class.
You had a first class. That's impressive.
And then the university gave me a scholar. Generally,
yes.
The universities wouldn't let first class people leave.
Okay.
They will prepare you to come back as a lectureship person. That's when I got the scholarship you read about.
I see.
So the university offered me a scholarship for a PhD.
Wow.
Because when you have a first class, generally people who are first class don't do a master's again.
They go straight to PhD.
They go straight to PhD.
That's impressive. Talk to us a bit about this first class honors in what was the course again? Was it translation?
No, it was in my undergraduate was in foreign languages.
Foreign languages, yes. That includes French,
German,
Italian, Spanish,
linguistics.
That's impressive.
English.
Wow. I now understand how the first time I met you was in 1992 when my brothers, there were 5 of them, were getting baptized in Balmayo.
Oh, in Balmayo, okay.
You were the interpreter.
Oh, okay.
You spoke impeccable French.
Oh, my goodness.
In fact, nobody could even believe you were from the English-speaking part of Cameroon.
Oh, my, thank you.
It was so, I got
That's
really,
a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, and I got really motivated and inspired to learn foreign language. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the missed opportunity. So after this experience in 1984, you graduated in June 84. There was a missed opportunity. What was that?
Well, the university gave me a scholarship
to
take a PhD and prepare me for a lectureship position.
Okay.
I didn't have a passport.
So you needed a passport?
To travel abroad for the course, for the PhD. I didn't have a passport from my home country.
That? And there was no
I was not Nigerian, so...
There was no embassy in Cameroon then?
There was an embassy in Cameroon, Lagos. Yes. When I went there, first of all, they asked me whether the university knew I was not Nigerian. I said, yeah, the university was interested in people's brains.
Yeah, not in people's country.
Where they came from. They didn't have to give me first class only because I came from there.
Exactly.
No. Well, they they asked me to go to Cameroon for a passport. I went to Cameroon, and in Cameroon they said, oh, because you're already in Nigeria, go back to Nigeria and get it. And by the time I did that, it was late.
Oh.
That's how I lost the opportunity. As a matter of fact, I should have finished the PhD by about 87 or 88. Oh.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
How can our country be a hindrance?
I don't know. Well, I don't know.
Passport.
And it's your passport.
Can you imagine that?
Yeah. At the time I was a student in Nigeria, we were about 200 students.
Cameroonians?
There were less than 10 with a passport.
Oh. So it was not an easy thing to get?
No.
Oh.
No. In fact, what we were given was laissez-passer, a little piece of paper. And that was then until Idiabong and the Buhari regime, military regimes came and stopped it and said they would not respect it again.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Maybe students who came after us had passports, but we didn't.
Oh. So that was a lost opportunity.
Yeah.
So what happened then? You returned to Cameroon?
I returned to Cameroon.
And you continued teaching in Cham?
Mm-hmm. I got a job. I went back to the people I taught for.
They know,
and they knew me. As a matter of fact, I taught English in Seconde and Première. And I taught French.
Yes.
In Seconde and Première, and then taught English in Première and Terminal.
Wow. High school.
Mm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it?
Oh, well.
It's what you like, languages.
Until people came and said, maybe I was wasting my time. I needed to go to Yaoundé too.
Oh, did some people advise you?
Mm-hmm. Then I left and went to Yaoundé.
85. You went to Yaoundé 1985.
Yes.
So what happened in Yaoundé?
Well, I got to Yaoundé and was introduced to the world of concours.
Oh. And you took them?
Yes.
Like the one of Advanced School of Translation and Interpretation?
Yes, ASTI, yes. We heard about the opening of ASTI, the Advanced School of Translators and Interpreters. And I sat the concours. I was one of the 30. 15 English-speaking candidates, 15 French-speaking, and was one of the pioneers.
Okay. You've always been a
30,
pioneer.
yes, I've always been a pioneer. And then when I got there, well, I was a pioneer in my elementary school, I was a pioneer in my secondary school, I was a pioneer in my graduate school.
That's interesting.
And then when I got there, I was elected the pioneer
student government president.
Yes.
So
I'm actually the first student union president in the history of the University of Buea.
Wow. So you were the spokesman for the students?
Oh, yeah.
That's impressive.
Thank you.
So do you remember some anecdotes that you had to speak on behalf of students?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was me advocating for changes or...
So you started long ago.
Yeah.
An advocate for justice, for peace, non-violence.
For students, welfare and belonging and things like that, yes.
You are a gifted and talented leader.
No, thank you.
Because it's not easy to be an advocate. You need to be fearless, intrepid. Because if you are fearful, how do you speak on behalf of others?
No, you can't.
I now understand where this charism. Okay, that's 1986. Then you began civil service career. Talk to us about your civil service
when we finished in Buea,
yes,
we were posted to the university, to the Department of Linguistics.
Okay.
Department of Linguistic Services at the Presidency.
From Buea?
From Buea, yeah. That's where I started work in 1989.
As a civil servant?
As a civil servant at the Presidency of Cameroon.
1989?
In 1989, yes. As a matter of fact, we had finished in 88 though.
Okay.
And I don't know why they would not introduce our dossier early enough. So I already had children who had graduated from elementary school. I needed to go to college, so I needed money.
Exactly.
So I went to look for work at Akintola Williams.
In Douala?
In Douala. I had to feed these children. I had to pay fees
too.
So I already had a family. So what I did was, Akintola is a British trained accountant, auditors.
Okay.
And they worked in Douala and they were auditing mainly French-speaking companies. and they were writing their audit reports in English.
I see.
So they needed somebody now to translate them into French.
Oh.
I used to translate a report. I could make 500,000 in 2 weeks or a week.
Wow.
Because in translation you pay by pages.
Okay, not words.
Well, in Cameroon we didn't talk about words.
Okay,
nobody
pages.
would pay. Yeah, nobody would pay by words.
I see.
So we used to count the pages. And so I could make more money than even some of the accountants.
I see.
So Pa Jolly Tumbe, who was the boss, invited me
personally
to become a trainee auditor. So I said, no, I didn't want to do that. So he said, what did I want to do? I said, I wanted to work at a presidency like Musonge. So he said, what do you mean? I said, that's what I wanted. He said, young man, he was a soft-spoken person.
Okay.
He said, young man, what is important is what goes into your pocket at the end of the month.
Okay.
Not where you work. But I didn't get his advice. Okay. Because his intention was that I would become an audit trainee. Yes. They would teach me how to audit. Okay. And write reports too. Wow. So I could just write for them.
Exactly.
Well, what he discovered was that I was making more money
than the auditing
that I could have been making from the company if they employed me full time.
Oh, I see. So he wanted you not to earn more money.
Well, he was. I think it was a business
oriented.
It was a business decision. I don't think it was in my interest. It was in his interest.
His interest, exactly.
Yeah.
But you were so smart to realize
well, I didn't take it. I didn't take his bet.
Good.
So that's why I went to the presidency.
Okay, you went to the presidency. Tell me your experience in
Oh, well, we worked there, but
So you had an office in the Unity Palace?
Yes.
Because some of us don't even know how it functions. So the Unity Palace...
No. At Unity Palace, there is the secretariat.
Okay.
And the civil cabinet.
Is it in the Unity Palace?
Yes. The civil cabinet is where the president lives and works. Okay. The secretariat is where all the workers at the presidency work. Okay. There are tons of workers at the presidency. Wow. So the linguistic services is one of the services of the secretariat. That's where we were.
I see.
I mean, we didn't see the president go in and come back. No. Okay. That is a whole different world. But people who don't know the presidency don't know that.
Okay, but this secretariat is found in the Unity Palace.
Yeah, yes. Yes.
So every morning you had to go to
to work there.
They had to check you.
Yes. Yeah, you went to work there. That's true.
Interesting. So
then for some personal reasons, I decided to leave.
You decided to leave from that function?
No, not the function. I decided to leave the presidency.
Oh, really, the job?
I went to Mr. Belem, the boss, and told him I was not very comfortable working there.
So Mr. Belem was the head of the linguistic...
He was a director of linguistic services for many years.
Wow, interesting. You were so frank, you told him...
Yeah, that I was not comfortable. So he asked me where I wanted to go to. I said I wanted to go to the Ministry of
External...
No, of Defense.
Of Defense, okay.
He said, wow, you may not be comfortable there. Why don't you go and think about it?
Okay.
So I went and he was very kind. So I went and
thought about it
and said, I would like to go to the foreign ministry. And then he posted me there.
Wow, interesting. So you were transferred there?
Yeah, no sooner did I arrive there under Minister Bobo Jacques Roger.
Then you were promoted as the service head.
Service head for translation and interpretation.
In such a short time?
Yeah.
What could be the reason? Is it that he discovered this talented and gifted young man?
I want to give it to the minister who appointed me. Oh, okay. I don't know exactly what
happened. What transpired? Yes. Okay.
But I came in as a very senior official. A2 is the highest in Cameroon. Okay. Most people who leave the school of diplomacy are not even A2 officers. So coming in at that level brings you some visibility because you came at the top of the civil service. A2 is the highest category, the highest rank in the Cameroon civil service. And that's how I entered the civil service.
Interesting. Impressive. So you were there from 1990 to
90, yes, 92, yeah.
To 92.
Well, I was there from 1990 to 1998.
Oh wow, a long time.
Yeah, but something happened in 1992 after Glasnost, after Perestroika.
Okay. What is Perestroika?
This is when Gorbachev, Mikhail Gorbachev, was head of state in the Soviet Union.
Okay.
And the Soviet Union crumbled in 89-90.
I see.
If you remember the president of the US at the time saying, Gorbachev, tear down the walls.
Okay.
When the Soviet Union crumbled,
yes.
there was then the reintroduction of democracy because America was now the single leader of the world and was imposing an agenda of democratization.
Okay.
And African states were informed by France that without democratizing, they were not going to have access to the World Bank for loans. So they were forced down to say that they were democratic. In other words, by 1990-91, there was the reintroduction of multi-partism.
Oh.
And then this brought a lot of chaos and violence and polarization politically.
And that led you to give a speech in 1993?
Before then, I formed an organization,
the
Association for Nonviolence, in which I was trying to say, yeah, we can disagree without being disagreeable. We can disagree and yet still listen to the other side.
I see.
We can disagree without fighting. Without being violent. Yes. I had read a lot about the nonviolent philosophy of Martin Luther King and Gandhi, and so that influenced me to start an association for nonviolence.
Wow.
But my association, even though I was preaching peace, I was misunderstood
by
both sides. The government saw me as another opposition. The opposition saw me as somebody working for the government.
So what were the negative consequences?
The thing is that even among our own people, Mr. Balaam belonged to the establishment and had his group. The SDF Professor Asomani had his own group. Now, I didn't join the...
Any of them?
Yes, I didn't join the Asomani group. So each side, when they didn't see me, they thought I was with the other side. And that's why I found myself caught between crossfire like that.
Oh.
Not that anybody, well, that's what I think they were thinking about me.
Okay.
But that's why I say I was never understood.
Okay.
All I was preaching is that, yeah, we can disagree.
But let's not kill one another.
Yeah, let's not kill one another. Let's not be so violent to one another. I mean, democracy is a game of ideas.
Exactly.
There's no way people in a democratic setting will not disagree. But it did not occur to me as if there was sincerity in saying we are democratic. The people who decreed democracy probably did not mean it. Yes. Because, I mean, you can't say, well, let's be democratic, but you still hold all the strings of everything.
That's a contradiction.
Well, politically, the politicians would say that's realism. Because if they loosen up too much, power will be taken away from their hands. And they didn't want to lose that power.
So in that platform, in that framework of your Organization for Peace, you gave a speech, Association for Nonviolence as response to political polarization in Cameroon following the reintroduction of multipartism. So,
well, that brought me a lot of visibility.
In that 93. And in 95, you were invited to present the first public speech.
That visibility made the American embassy to invite me to speak, to present the Martin Luther King Jr. lecture to honor his anniversary in '95. So I was invited in January '95. I was invited by American Embassy to present the Martin Luther King lecture. That was my first public presentation in life. That marked the beginning of a new.
And here it was outstandingly impressive.
Yes, it was. I mean, the ambassador said, "Oh, how long have you been in America to know all this about America?"
You said you've never been.
Yeah, I told him that I'd never been to America. It's just that I'd read a lot about it.
Exactly, you did research.
Yes.
Interesting. So in August 1995, you received the Herbert Humphrey Award. So that started opening doors.
Yeah, it opened many doors. I was selected with another person.
Yes, for
Mr. Wongibe Emmanuel as Herbert Humphrey International Fellows.
To study world leadership at the University of Minnesota.
Yeah, I was placed at the University of Minnesota, which happened to be Herbert Humphrey's home.
Okay.
Yeah, so I studied at the Herbert Humphrey Institute.
So he was an advocate for non-violence.
He was one of the fathers of democracy. Okay. Not the fathers. One of the disciples. Okay. And he did a lot. In fact, things like the Peace Corps were his idea. Oh. Even though he gave it up to JFK. Okay. But he was very
outstanding in
leadership in the Democratic Party.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. And he was from Minnesota.
Yes. And that's where the Herbert Humphrey is sitting. Okay. The Institute for Public Affairs at the University of Minnesota, and that's where we went.
So how many years?
I went there alongside one whole full year of graduate study and professional development. We were about 12 scholars from Senegal, Romania, Brazil, Uganda,
almost all
Bangladesh,
continents,
Mali.
All the continents.
And those people have gone forth to become very important people.
Like you.
The lady who came from Tanzania, a magistrate, she's now a magistrate at the World Court. The guy who came from Cyprus is now Prime Minister of Cyprus.
And you still keep in touch?
Well, I don't think that much, yes. Oh. But most of the people have gone to become very important.
Very important.
That was the part of the reason of the award.
So that
of leadership award.
Interact and meet other people. And that award changed your life.
It did.
You met people there, lasting and enduring friendships. Let's begin
As a
with
matter of fact, there are about 4 people that I met.
Okay, let's begin with the first, the Thompson family.
The Thompsons were my host family.
So you live with them?
Yes. Okay. And they picked me up at the airport.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so what happened is that when I got to Detroit, I found the flight going to Minneapolis and jumped into an early flight, which was not my flight. So I arrived in Minneapolis when my host parents were not ready yet.
Oh. What do you mean they were not ready?
Well, I was coming on a later flight. So when I got to the airport, I was a little stranded until my own flight came.
Okay.
So when my own flight came, I went to look for my luggage.
That's true.
And I saw some two people standing with my name.
Okay.
That's how I found it. And they said they would be my host parents. Oh. And they drove me from the airport to their home.
Lovely.
And that's where I spent the first night. And then they took me to where we would stay. Okay. Then helped buy pots and pans. And then they would come and take me for Sunday's church service. Okay. And then bring me home for lunch. And then bring me back to my apartment every Sunday. Till today, we are still very, very, very close.
So what role did they play in your life that is lasting?
Well, they helped tell me more about America. Because I remember I didn't know about gay and lesbianism.
Okay, you had never seen or you
I've never even heard about that.
Okay.
When I was living with them, they were so kind to me that when Thanksgiving came, I decided to buy them a Thanksgiving card. I bought a gay card. without knowing. So I went and gave them the card thinking I'd done a good thing.
Good job.
Very unfortunately, they thought maybe I was thinking they were gay or something.
Okay.
It was much later that they opened up to me and asked me that, did I know? No, after church one Sunday, we sat down talking.
Yes, sir.
And the idea came up about gay, and I was asking what it is about. And they said, do you know the card you bought for us at Thanksgiving? I said, no. They went and brought the card. And then they explained. I felt very, very embarrassed. And that's how, this was 95 that I bought that card.
Yes.
So that idea was, but then what was good with them is that they had lived in North Cameroon.
Oh, before?
Oh, yeah, before as doctors, medical doctors. So they knew Cameroon, they knew something about us, and I think they knew I was genuine.
I see.
Yes.
I see. So they let it go.
Yeah, they let it go.
So that was a great part they played. And then you have the Raiselman.
Oh, Raiselman. Okay.
Tell me, he was a classmate.
Yes. Bob and I met at the seminar at the Hubert Humphrey called Leadership for the Common Good.
Okay.
Bob was an engineer.
Yes.
From Iowa, and he was working in Minneapolis at the time. So I don't know what attracted me to him. We became friends, and to this day we are still very good friends. In fact, when I won the lottery, when we won the lottery, we were coming, that gentleman was the one who provided our affidavit of support.
Interesting. Can you imagine?
And gave us 2 air tickets.
Wow. That's impressive.
So, and when we got here, they drove here to see us, and they have been very encouraging. We continue to stay as friends.
Wow. That's impressive. So what about Reverend Father Smith, a Catholic priest?
Father Smith?
Yes.
When I was in '96, the Hubert Humphrey was hosting a world conference.
Okay. Where was that?
At the Hubert Humphrey Institute in Minneapolis.
Okay.
So, because of my work in nonviolence, they invited me to form and moderate a panel on not using nonviolence to build communities.
Yes,
which I did, and I was looking for speakers, and I stumbled on Father Smith, who was the director of the Peace and Justice Studies at the University of St. Thomas.
I see.
So I invited him to serve on the panel, and we connected that way. After I returned to Cameroon, he had a sabbatical and was going around the world researching on nonviolence around the world, and came to live with us in Yaoundé for 2 weeks. Wow. In fact, when the results of the lottery came out, he was in a house when the results came.
Oh, wow.
So he ended up giving me the air ticket that brought me here.
Wow.
And we have continued to be friends. One thing with me is that I don't make new friends.
Okay.
I keep my old friends.
The old ones.
Yes.
And you know how to maintain your friendship.
Yeah, I do. Yes. I don't make too many new friends. I stay with my old friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And finally, Thomases.
Well, that is an interesting story. I'm in Wisconsin because of the Thomases.
Okay. Elucidate, please.
Towards the end of my stay in Minnesota, we had a big event in May or June.
Where?
The Promise Keepers in the Metrodome. That was a Christian group that taught men to be good husbands.
Okay. A Christian group?
Yes. I registered for it.
Did they belong in a particular church?
No, they just came out of Missouri or Kansas or someplace.
Okay.
And they all wanted to make men know how to live, to make good husbands. So I went in and happened to see side by side Jimmy Thomas.
Okay.
Who had come from here.
Oh, from here, from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how Providence put us together. During the 2-3 days of the event, we became friendly, shared pictures of our families, exchanged addresses. He was taking copious notes.
I see.
I was videoing all the music and the preaching and the lectures. At the end, we shared addresses and left. We rode back and forth like 2 times. And so when we had the opportunity to return to America, we came to Chicago, and I wrote a letter to my friend in Neenah, Wisconsin. He said, "You are back?" I said, "Yeah. I'm back. At this time, I'm not alone. I'm with my whole family."
Wow.
He said, "Wow. So where are you?"
Good.
I gave him my address in Chicago. He got around here. We had nothing when we got here. So he went around getting furniture, pots and pans and lamps, and invited another person from his church. And they loaded 2 vans and a little trailer and came to Chicago with a Christmas tree on the 15th of December 1998. And they helped us settle down there. And then when he returned here, he worked for Kimberly-Clark. Kimberly-Clark is like the biggest name in the paper industry. They make diapers and Huggies and things like that.
I see.
So when he got here, he got a huge promotion with Kimberly-Clark. They sent him to Charlotte, North Carolina as marketing director. So his friends were giving him a going away party.
That's true.
And one of the friends he had invited to come see us in Chicago came to Chicago and brought my wife and me here. So when we came here and we were driving around, it was calm and quiet.
You loved it.
We loved it. And that's why we said this way we needed to bring our children, not Chicago. And that's how we came here. We didn't meet him here.
No.
Because he had left. But his friends, on going away, he left his washer and dryer for us. His friends did not want to bring it to Chicago. They wanted us to come. So they were very encouraging, and we came. So the 4 people I've mentioned were virtually angels in our lives.
Changed your lives.
They were angels in our lives here. But when we got here, we met a few other people. Oh no, there's a family I didn't mention. In my international human rights course, I met a law student whose father was a lawyer, an attorney. He was called Greg somebody.
I don't know why most of them are called Greg. Most attorneys.
I've forgotten his other last name. This boy took me to his home. They invited me for Christmas. When my birthday came up, he took me out to a bar to drink. And we were very close. His parents bought me Christmas clothes, warm clothes. And when I was leaving, they gave me $2,000.
Can you imagine?
But when I came back, I tried to reconnect. It didn't quite hold. Actually, they were connected. Then there was another gentleman who was superintendent of schools in Brainerd.
I see.
We went out to spend a few days out in the state, and I stayed with him. We were very close to, but when I came back and tried to connect, when we came back, he was now superintendent in South Korea or Hong Kong.
Oh wow, that's far away.
But when he returned, I tried to connect with him. We didn't quite.
Okay.
Now he has retired. I don't know where he is.
Oh, interesting.
So those are the 4 I still remember quite well.
Yes, outstanding story. So touched by that. Returned to Cameroon, June 1986. So after this experience with his friends.
Oh yeah, many people encourage us to just
go back.
Just find a way and stay here.
Exactly.
And I said no. I had come here as a guest of the United States government. As a matter of fact, the certificate I earned there was signed by President Clinton.
Okay.
We were received in high places, and
you see,
I met President Carter.
Wow.
We went to Washington and we were hosted in the Mayflower.
Wow.
And I didn't imagine that I would start running around and hiding in America, where I'd been given this kind of treatment. So even though people encouraged me to stay, I said no, I was going to be back.
Okay, so you went back in 1986.
Yes. And then, unfortunately, a year and a half after that, the late chief, my father, the king.
Oh, 1996.
Yes, 96.
96. And then a year something very, very important, significant happened. Yeah.
My late father passed.
He disappeared.
He disappeared. And at the time, I was working in the foreign ministry. We went home.
Yes, sir.
And I happened to be selected to ascend to the throne.
That was on October 6, 1997.
October 6, 1997.
Were you prepared for that?
No, nobody is ever prepared for that.
Okay.
Nobody even knows.
Okay.
It is a guarded secret.
I see.
In our tradition.
So before then, had you been a lover of culture?
Oh yeah, I've always been a cultural person.
Okay.
But I was lucky that I made the choice to not stay in the U.S.
No, that was the best choice because if you have stayed in the US, you would not have been able to experience the disappearance of your dad.
I didn't experience it because I was not there.
Oh,
my father just disappeared as if he was walking away.
Oh.
He was not sick.
Okay. And you were not even there, you were in your own day.
Yes. His time just came to leave this world. And we had like 2 days after he had gone. Yeah, I wasn't even there. I think what I'm saying.
Yes, what you're trying to say about the
blessing was that he probably had made his choice years before. So if I came back only a year and a half before he went away.
No,
so if I had not come back, what would have happened to the kingdom? Would the kingdom stay without a king?
So that was a great.
And on passing, he had said that everything should be done immediately. In fact, I was crowned and enthroned 6 days
after.
Wow.
How was the coronation? Do you have some memories?
Well,
I saw the videos. Very, very solemn ceremony.
Well, they followed the tradition of Atoabechied.
To the letter.
The traditions of Atoabechied. Yeah, to the letter.
Can you let our viewers know where Atoabechied is exactly from?
It is in.
How do you get there?
It is in where, and because the roads are very bad. The entire where area is very mountainous. So the roads from the west, say from Mamfe, are not the best.
Okay.
So the easiest access is from Cham.
Okay, you get to Cham.
Because we are on the slopes from the western Bayang Plains, Cross River Plains, we are in the transition up to the Adamawa Plateau. Oh. So this is how you see, leaving the plains and climbing to the Adamawa. Okay. This is where Mwe or Mulebialam is located. So the terrain is very mountainous.
I see.
If you know the terrain in America, it can only be something like the Colorado area.
Okay.
So the easiest or the shortest access is
from Cham.
From the east.
Okay.
Going westwards.
Wow.
Yeah. we have put this on Google Map so it can be located easily.
Oh, thanks for that. I went to your website. I was so impressed.
Yeah, thank you.
Well documented, and there's a museum in your palace.
Yes.
In the palace.
Oh, yes.
The school, the hospital. The full professor Fonkem is doing a great job.
Oh, we thank God.
The prince.
Yes.
So proud of him, and
he's ready. If the war had not come,
yes,
we would have a hospital.
Oh, so sad.
And Nchumbonga now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the war came and the workers all escaped. People were fearful for their lives. The workers left. Nothing has been going on there since 2017.
After the coronation, something very, very significant happened in your life. You immigrated to the United States. October 1998.
What happened is that at the time we were in Yaoundé, most of my contemporaries were struggling to send their children abroad.
To study?
To study. Okay. We didn't quite have that much money to do so. So when God blessed us with the diversity immigrant lottery visa, we thought it was good enough to be thrown away. So our goal was to bring our children to the US for 5 years and then go back.
Okay.
We thought that it would take them about 5 years to find their feet and we'll leave them. But when we got here, we discovered that the experience was something else. And that's why we're still here.
Wow. Interesting.
And then when we got here, the families that I introduced earlier,
you reconnected.
We were reconnected, and they were most helpful and their own friends. And so in our early days here, even though people say that the white folk are very discriminatory, in our case, they were the ones who helped us settle. And that's why, even though Appleton and the Fox cities are very white, we have never felt alienated.
Never. Wow, that's a lovely story. For
our best friends here are all white.
Why?
Some people may think that we are naive, but that is the truth.
Okay, thanks so much for upholding the truth and
in fact, even the mayor. I've seen the mayor of the city, and he says, "Oh, I was with your son in the bar last night." Talking about this Ngoson you met yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so impressive. You have a lovely story. So you immigrated, you were in Chicago, then Fox Valley City, and then something very, very significant happened.
What again?
Jobs. You started having the first one. You were a teacher at the University of Wisconsin Fox Valley, and then you were a teacher at Xavier High School.
Let me tell you this. We got here the last week of August '99.
Okay.
On the 1st of September, I was already teaching.
Can you imagine? Because school began in August. So how did it happen?
I don't know. I just got a job. In fact, when I came, the people these friends
who had known you,
who were driving me around, asked me what I could do. I said I could teach university. So they took me to Lawrence University, which is a liberal arts private college here.
Okay.
And there was already somebody there.
Okay.
I thought I applied to teach French. There was already somebody there, so they took me to the University of Wisconsin, Fox Valley. I put in an application, and they were still showing us around town when I got a call saying, "Can you update your resume for an interview, please?"
Wow.
And that's how, on September 1, I started teaching university. I've never done anything else. I taught there for 5 years.
Yes, sir.
Then I went to teach at Marian University.
Marian Uni.
Then I went to teach at the University of Wisconsin
Parkside.
And then driving down there was so far.
Okay.
Because I've always lived in Appleton.
I see.
I decided to apply to go to Oshkosh.
Okay.
And from 2006, I started teaching in Oshkosh.
And you have escalated drastically.
Where I got a tenure track position.
Tell our viewers what that big term means.
So
tenure track.
When you are employed at the university on tenure track, it means that you have, the university is like a state. It has a budget. The budget has chapters. A tenure track position it has a chapter in the budget of the university.
Okay.
So when it's very difficult to become a tenure track professor, because when there is an opening,
that's true,
and there is a chapter available in the budget,
that's true,
the university advertises worldwide.
Okay.
You can have about 300 candidates applying for a position.
That's true.
Then a search and screen committee is put together.
I see.
And that search and screen committee studies all the applications, narrows them down to about 5, then to 3, and those 3 finalists are invited to campus, flown to campus, hosted by campus,
yes, well,
and then interviewed.
Okay.
And then they teach. They are given an opportunity to teach.
And they are supervised.
And they are supervised, and the entire university community is invited to what they're teaching. So that's how one person ends up getting hired. Wow. So you start, the professoriate is a very, very wide game.
Okay.
The search starts from very vast, then it is narrowed down to the candidate. So once you are selected,
Yes.
you are given a contract as as assistant professor. That's where that's the tenure journey begins, from assistant professor.
Is that the same as an adjunct professor?
No.
Okay.
Adjunct means that they just employ you maybe to teach one class,
okay,
or to teach two classes, and you just sign a contract for that. Okay. At the end of that class, it's
over.
Adjunct means ad hoc, as needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
As needed.
So if they need you, there's just one class. They cannot. They may not want to hire a whole full professor for that. Okay. So they just employ somebody ad hoc for that.
I see.
So there are some other people in the university called IAS.
Okay, what are those?
Instructional academic staff.
Okay.
In those other positions that I taught before I came to Oshkosh, yes, I was IAS. Oh. You were called lecturer. Okay. IAS means instructional academic staff. I see. Okay. But you are not tenure track. You are not tenured.
No, you're not.
You could even sign a contract for a year.
Okay.
Or something like that, not just a class. It means they know you and they can give you a contract for a year or for 2 years. But if you are hired tenure track, it means that you are a full, those are the people called faculty. Okay. If you went to my office, you will see under my name faculty. If you are not on tenure track, you are not faculty. And then every year they renew you. You are tested on your teaching, your scholarship, and your service to your department, to your college, to the university, and to your community. And if you are found not doing well in one area, they will advise you to
work on it.
To work on that area. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't,
can they terminate the contract?
Of course, you are sent out. You are not tenured. Here, tenure track. You are on a journey to be tenured. Okay. And you work like that for 6 or 7 years. Yes. And they are watching you every year in all those 3 areas. In my case, when I came up with my first review.
Yes, as assistant professor.
As assistant professor, I was renewed for 3 years. Okay. In other words, I was doing everything so well.
So well. Wow. Mm-hmm. And after that, you were associate.
Yes. Then when you receive tenure,
yes,
it means the university has found you fit to be faculty. And that's why they tenure you. Okay. Tenure is like what you call at home integration.
Okay.
Yes.
You are brought in, integrated.
Yes. You become a full employee of the university. You are a tenured professor.
Interesting.
And then you are promoted to associate. So most people you hear associate professor,
yes, well,
they are first on tenure,
okay,
and then they have now been promoted to. They have now been tenured in their school.
That's impressive. Then full professor.
And then you work again for another 6 or 7 years. Okay. And you are tested again the same way. If you did everything the way they want, yes, then they promote you to full professor.
I see. You were full professor, I think, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I remember.
Years ago, yes.
I remember.
Yeah.
And then now you were elevated to
this year. Oh, okay. In 2003.
Yes. John McNaughton Rosebush University Professorship.
In 2003,
yes,
somebody nominated me for that position.
Can you imagine? 2003, yes, long ago.
It took an entire year to screen. If you go into the annals of the university, they tell you that this is a coveted position in the university, in which the screening takes the entire university governance to award such positions to people. And that's how
That's how you got it.
Screening from October all the way to May. It was announced on May 17th that.
Is it 2023 or 2003?
2023.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It started in 2022.
Yes.
No. Yes. The screening started in the fall in October 2022.
Therefore.
And the award was given on May 17, 2023.
Wow. How did you feel for?
Oh, very, very
accomplished.
Very humble.
Okay.
To get there. There's something with a PhD.
Tell me.
Most people who earn a PhD will tell you how humbling it can be. Because by the time they give you,
yes,
it is as if you know nothing. Because the more you dig into something, the more you discover how less you know.
Okay.
The more you study,
yes,
the less you think you know.
Okay.
That's why most PhD people are pretty humble. It is a very humbling experience.
Okay.
Because you write and think that you did your best, and your supervisors will say, this is nonsense. You need to begin again. Have you read A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Z? If you go to a good program and you have a good supervisor or mentors, they make you work and work and work. But it prepares you for life. That's why the people who earn a good PhD, yes, they are very good.
Not all these online PhDs.
No. Well, not too much of what I see around. So in many places
nowadays.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. But when I was told, when the university called me to give me the award, it's something, because you can have about 400 or 500 professors in the university. You don't find 5 or 10 distinguished professors now. Yeah. So I'm most thankful to God for bringing me to the highest point in academia.
Yes. And that takes me back to, we skipped that important stage in your life. When you came to the United States, the Nchumbonga doctor patient encouraged you to do a doctorate program.
She did that because I was writing like crazy. I've always been writing.
You've always
and publishing.
You've always done that.
But I didn't have, and she said, well, as long as you don't have the 3-letter words behind your name, people don't respect what you do or what you write.
Okay.
And that's why she encouraged me to take the PhD. Because I said to myself, I was already too old.
Okay.
Why would I spend time? If I had that money, let me go and improve on the palace.
Palace, exactly.
And so she asked me that, who's going to give you the money?
Okay.
Why don't you take school fee loans and go to university and do it?
And you did that.
It's the best thing, the best decision I ever had. So I owe everything to her. Wow. Her advice has been most important. She's advised me in many things in life. Getting a PhD was one of the greatest.
And she's an educator by excellence. Yes.
Oh yeah.
In the field.
She studied education in universities in Cameroon, Israel, Canada, and the United States.
Wow.
So she's very accomplished as an educator. Yeah.
That's so impressed.
Yeah.
Your other side.
But the good thing then that she let me have the PhD before she went for hers.
Okay. It's impressive that both of you
and
are
then
now.
Both of us now teach at the same university.
Okay.
Yeah. But she teaches adjunct, like you were.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Because she likes to do other things.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't want to go take a full-time position.
Full-time. No. Wow, Bob, I'm so proud of you and your achievement as a young person who aspires to get to your level. I really feel encouraged.
Thank you.
Thank you for having dedicated your life not only as a custodian of culture and tradition, but also in academia.
Thank you.
Putting them together.
Well, God has made it possible.
Amen.
Yes.
Thank God for that.
We owe it all to God's blessings.
You've had an exceedingly unlimited awards, academic awards, which I think let us get into that before.
And before we get there, I should also tell you that we got all those achievements raising children.
Can you imagine at the same time?
Yeah, raising children. And It's not easy to raise kids in the United States.
It's not easy to be a student and raising kids at the same time.
Yeah, we're so blessed with what God has done in our lives and with the children.
Okay.
We now have a son who's a full professor.
Full professor from Kenya.
And chair of the Department of Neurology at the Medical College of Wisconsin.
Yes.
We have another doctor who is.
Before you continue, he was
oh well, that's what they said. But I don't want us to go too far into that.
Yes. Okay.
So we're so proud of his own accomplishments.
Okay.
He's a full professor. He supervises over 200 neurologists. That's something outstanding.
Austin, Texas.
We have another son who, Doctor of Law, taught at the University of Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, and then returned to the United States. Now he's a partner at a top tier business law firm.
I was honored to meet him yesterday.
Okay. Yes.
That's great.
And then last October, one of our daughters got her own doctorate. So in this home,
yes,
there are 5 doctors in this home.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And
and others are coming up.
Others are coming up. Quite impressive.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Let's go to the awards, because the awards are quite impressive. I want to begin from the first award you had, 1981.
No.
University of Benin School Award for Best Overall Student in Part 1 degree exam at the University of Benin.
Well, when I got to Benin, very late.
Yes.
I was admitted on matriculation
day.
Wednesday, December 10th, 1980.
I see.
As God would have it, at the end of the year, I was the best student.
Impressive.
And overall best I was the best of my department, overall best of the university. And the university awarded that scholarship. So 3 of us became university scholars.
Yes.
And the award covered the entirety of the rest of our 3 years.
Wow, that's impressive. That's quite impressive. Then the second one was 1983. Prize for the best student in 3rd year degree examination in the Department of Foreign Language.
As a matter of fact, for the 4 years that I was at the University of Benin, I was at graduation award the rope 3 times.
Okay.
Because each time you are taking an award,
you must wear it.
Award, they give you the rope to wear. So I won 3 times
instead of just 1 time.
Instead of 1 time.
Wow.
So yes, in the 3rd year, I won the best student in the Department of Foreign Languages.
You were really good at foreign languages.
I think I was.
Wow.
In fact, when I left Seat of Wisdom,
yes,
I won the best arts prize.
Okay. The whole arts.
Yes. There were 2 of us.
In Seat of Wisdom.
Yes. There was a science award and an arts award. And my award was a book called Introduction to Logic.
Okay.
Yes. So, and I used to be one of the best in French in Seat of Wisdom. So it's been, not that I learned it, I don't know, I just have a knack for languages.
Yes.
Then in 1984, I won the Dean's Prize.
Okay.
The Faculty of Arts as the best student.
Yes.
Finishing in the Faculty of Arts, and I earned the 1st class honors. And before then, I represented my university at the Inter-University Challenge. So when the cream of the crop was selected to go and compete, I represented the University of Benin. Wow. Yeah, that was the honor I had.
That's impressive. That was in 84. Then in 95, you had the Hubert, that one that brought you to Minnesota.
Yeah, to the University of Minnesota.
On professional development.
Yes.
On leadership.
Graduate studies and professional development.
Okay, where you met these lasting friends.
People, yeah. And then
2009.
My focus then was on leadership.
Yes.
Public policy analysis.
Conflict management and international human rights law.
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Then in 2009, you had the Chignikol Essay Award.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had returned to the US then.
Okay, you had returned.
And I was writing. And I published an article in the Mediation Journal,
Wisconsin Association of
Yes. And so my article was just the best article, and I was given an award.
Wow.
The Chignikol Award.
Wow. Quite impressive. Quite impressive. Wow. And then in 2000, 9 years to this Chick Award, you had a Libya Cultural and Development Association Award for outstanding leadership in the Liberian community in the USA.
Right. Yeah.
And that was given in Washington.
In Washington D.C. That's very true.
Wow. So awards in academic area, in the culture.
Yes. Yeah.
You've always been in this tour.
That's true.
Wow, it's outstanding. In then 2019, you had the Atoabechied Award for Public Service and Scholarship.
Yes. And that was awarded
University of Texas,
by the University
Austin.
of Texas at Austin, yes.
Wow. This is quite impressive. Then in 2023, you had the Babcock University Award for Meritorious Service.
Yes. I went on sabbatical to Babcock University. Babcock University in Nigeria is a Seventh-day Adventist university.
Okay.
And while there, I did a lot of mentoring.
Wow.
And that's why the university gave me the award.
Outstanding.
As a matter of fact, I won many awards that year.
Wow. I can see that.
Yeah,
but that same year, you
won,
had the Veronica Adeleke School of Social Sciences Award for Academic Mentorship.
Yes, because of the mentoring that I did to the faculty of the Adeleke School.
And then you had another award, Glorious Vision University Award of Recognition for Scholar in Peace Studies.
Yes.
Wow.
At Glorious Vision University. That is true, in Ogba.
And then that same year, the University Award at the University of Benin, the Distinguished Alumnus
Yes, I
Award.
was invited by my alumni
association,
the University of Benin, and I was given the Outstanding Alumnus Award.
Okay.
Yes, they still recognize me.
Of course.
At the university.
Still, you were the first.
Yeah, first class.
First class.
Yes.
And then that same year, the University of Jos Award for Peace.
Yes.
School Award. It's called Peace School Award. Award for Peace School. No, Peace Scholar. I'm sorry,
Peace Scholarship. Yes.
So Peace Scholarship.
Yeah,
so
the University of Jos awarded me, gave me that award for Peace Scholarship.
Wow, that's impressive. And lately, you had an award, 2024. John.
Oh, the Distinguished Award. Okay.
The Distinguished
John McNaughton Rosebush University Professor.
The highest professional level.
Wow. That's very true. Thank you.
It is extremely encouraging.
And then just recently, I've not only been external examiner for the PhD in political science at a few universities.
Yes.
I was recently appointed research fellow for the University of South Africa.
Yes. There's a whole list of theses you are supervising, which is just extremely outstanding, worth mentioning.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a short break, my friends, and when we come back, we're going to look into those theses, and then we're going to look into His Imperial Majesty's public scholarship. He has delivered countless interviews and conferences worth mentioning.
Yeah, invited lectures, invited speeches. Thank you.
We'll be back, His Imperial Majesty.
Thank you.
His Imperial Majesty.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, it has been a wonderful session. I've learned a lot, and I know my viewers worldwide. This is quite fresh water from the palace.
It is. Water is the best drink in the whole wide world.
It is. It's pure and natural.
God gave us
not contaminated.
Yeah.
So permit me, I have here a list of I'm going to begin with the public scholarship. I have here countless. We're going to begin with the cultural imperialism, dangerous to Africans' growth, New Telegraph, Lagos, Nigeria.
Oh, that was an interview I gave to the New Telegraph in Nigeria, yes.
Can you comment on that? What was there?
Well, they sought to know what I thought about culture and how the West has tried to influence our own culture in order to promote theirs. because the West generally doesn't like the competition we have. And so I was saying that culture is what makes us who we are, and so it's important to uphold our culture.
Yes. Yeah. Great. Then they have the panel on cool in Africa.
On cools.
Cool.
Yeah, that panel was put together by the eminent Professor Toyin Falola.
Okay.
Professor Falola is one kind of a professor, of an intellectual. He has about 23 honorary degrees from around the world. And so he's very influential to academia.
Okay.
So when there were coups in Africa, in Mali, in Niger, in Burkina, and things like that,
yes,
there was a trend coming along, and so he put together that panel.
Wow, and you were invited?
Yeah, I was served on that panel.
That was in September 24th, 2023. Yeah. Interesting. Then you have the Human DHS 261 colloquium.
Oh, yeah, there was a colloquium on
reimagining and re-enchanting education.
Yes, that is a new field of learning.
Okay.
Humiliation and dignity and humiliation studies. Wow. That's what they call human DHS.
Okay.
Human dignity and humiliation studies. It's a new field of study.
Okay. Quite impressive. Then the effect of global and regional conflict, dynamics and quest for peace. This was at the Wele African Global Peace Initiative.
Yes. The women even invited us to lead a prayer for peace.
Okay, you led?
Yes, I represented Cameroon.
Wow.
There was a panel of many leaders from around the globe to pray for peace.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Then leadership.
WAIL is a women organization.
Okay. Then the next one is leadership in peace and conflict resolution. Webinar with joyous initiatives. Osogbo.
Yeah, in Osogbo, they invited me to lead that discussion on peace. Yes.
Impressive. Then we have the wars of our time, origins and ways forward for peace. Depth of cultural and political studies, University of Limpopo.
Oh, okay.
South Africa.
Yeah.
February 28th.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
You have traveled around the world. Interesting, global trotter. Conflict in Nigeria and its border countries.
Yeah, that was a glorious university, glorious vision university.
Ogwa. Edo State.
Yes.
And enhancing individual progress in academia. Conversations for real life experience. University of Benin.
Benin, yes, that was at my alma mater.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Self-determination and secessionism in post-colonial states.
That was at the Nigerian Institute for
International Affairs in Lagos.
Yes.
Grappling with the Peace We Seek Center for the Conflict Management and Peace Study, University of Jos.
Yes.
Wow. Prayer by
grappling with the peace we seek.
Yes.
We are all seeking peace.
Exactly.
And so are we coping with it? How we struggling to grasp the peace which keeps eluding us?
Yeah. That's interesting. You're an advocate for peace.
Yes.
Prayers by His Royal Majesty Professor Fonkem Achankeng I, Wele Africa Global Peace for Sudan.
Yeah, we just talked about that. And other war-torn countries.
Okay. Way forward for Nigeria's education system.
Yeah, that was an interview I gave. I granted this day newspaper in Lagos.
Okay. Interesting. Central Africa Area Studies course.
Yes.
Guest presenter, Foreign Service Institute.
Yeah, I am ad hoc at the Foreign Service Institute
in Washington.
Yeah, in the Department of State in Washington.
Wow.
So I do a course on Central Africa.
Okay.
To diplomats going to work in Central Africa.
So they can know the terrain and the politics. Wow. Understanding the British Southern Cameroon's conflict in modern Africa. You a guest lecture on modern Africa in the department in a department at the University of Texas in Austin.
Yes.
Wow. This was long ago, 2018. Against all odds, host refugee simulation, the advanced Titan News, 2018 too.
Yes. People here do not understand who are refugees.
Okay.
So I simulate them to show people
Yes.
Why people are refugees and who are called refugees.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
And you know, the World Relief resettles refugees from the Sudan and the Congo and Rwanda here.
I see.
So many people don't understand who are these people and where are they from. So when I do refugee simulation, using the people here to pretend to be Congolese or Sudanese trying to come to the United States, I try to simulate what they go through. Okay. So that brings visibility to the lives of these new faces we find in the churches, in schools, on the streets, in the market.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Then you have Oshkosh refugee simulation provides powerful glimpse into life as a refugee. We're back to what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
You've done a great job. And then we have we need Bago County Literacy
Council. Those are the
different
different places where
I did
where I did the refugee simulation workshops.
Okay. And then from 2011 from 6 to 11, you delivered a conference at the family violence and the good health of Christian families. You were a guest lecturer at the Cameroon Baptist Church in Bafusa.
Yes.
That's in Cameroon. Then there was another conference on boundary and name changes in world geography.
Yes, at the University of Wisconsin, La Crosse.
Yes. Wow. And then from 96 to 98, the Cameroon administrator as mediator, invited speaker at the National School of Administration and Magistracy. Wow, interesting.
In fact, Minister, Governor, who was that? The man from Bafia, he's very famous, sat in that lecture.
Okay.
Abuama Choi.
Okay.
Mr. Abuama Choi sat in that lecture. Yes.
Wow, what an honor.
At the NAM. Yes.
Methods and approaches in conflict management. You are invited speaker at the Cameroon chapter of the World Conference on Religion at Peace Montphoebe Monastery.
Yes.
Conflict resolution in Cameroon, mediation as a viable alternative conflict resolution initiatives organized by the Ecumenical Service for Peace in Bamenda. The limits of violence and the non-violence in the resolution of political conflict. Guest speaker at the Benin Fonlong Memorial Lecture series at the British Council, Yaoundé, 97, November. Conflict resolution in Central African states, theory and practice, invited lecture, Catholic University of Central Africa, Yaoundé, June 97. Wow. My dear viewers, this is extremely important for me to read these topics so that we can understand the talented and gifted person.
And the depth of work
that you have done. It's not easy to write a paper. And my viewers will understand what we're talking about, how it needs time, concentration, preparation, reading, research. Martin Luther King Jr. and a vision of a new society. 1997 Martin Luther King Memorial Lecture. That was in Yaoundé. 97. Africa, should the United States care? Invited guest Foreign Policy Association of Minnesota, Minneapolis. And put together and moderated a panel on using non-violence to build community at the 4th World Conference on Remedies to Racial and Ethnic Economic Inequalities. That was at the Hubert Humphrey Institute. Wow. This is quite impressive. I'm almost getting to the end. Conflict management in Cameroon schools and in the Otumwa elementary schools. A comparative analysis of Otumwa schools conflict managers program. That's in Iowa.
Yes.
Perspectives on education and development in Cameroon. Comparative and international development of education programs. University of Minnesota. March 1996. The democratization process and intergroup relations in Cameroon. International and intercultural Committee, University of Minnesota, February 1996. Global conflict, issues of minority cultures as a source of international conflict in Africa. Augsburg College, Minneapolis.
Augsburg College.
Augsburg, that was in February 1996. Building peace in Cameroon, the experience of the Association of Non-Violence, Fellowship of Reconciliation.
And that was an organization I formed in '93.
Okay, I see. Interesting. Failing states. What role for the United States? Dialogues and lecture series organized by Minnesota International Center. Okay. Yeah. Martin Luther King, The Morality of a Nation Looking Towards Africa.
Yep.
Interesting.
Presbyterian.
Yes.
Church.
Presbyterian Church. And last and not the least, Human Rights, Conflict and Development in Africa, School of International and Public Affairs, SIPA, Columbia University, City of New York,
yes.
November 1995.
Yes.
And finally, Martin Luther King Jr. and the Democratic Ideal, an invitation for nascent African democracies.
Yes.
1995.
Yes, that was when Africa was democratizing.
Yes, what?
And the polarization. I wanted them to learn from the works of Martin Luther King on democratization.
Okay.
Yes. And that was the first public speech I was invited to give at the United States Embassy in Yaoundé.
Wow. I'm so impressed by your signature. H.I.M, His Imperial Majesty Professor Fonkem Achankeng, PhD, ruler of Atoabechied, and John McNaughton Rosebush Professor, University of Wisconsin, Oshkosh, Herbert Humphrey International Fellow, Executive Council Member, Wisconsin Institute for Peace and Conflict Studies.
Right.
That's WIPS.
WIPIX.
Global Education and Research Team, Dignity and Humiliation Studies, DHS.
Yes.
Leadership Team Member, Transitional Education and Learning Society, TELS.
Yes.
And I love the two adages below your signature. I'll rather be free in my cave than a slave in someone else's mansion.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that for?
Well,
you're free thinking.
I better be free wherever I'm living than being a slave in someone else's mansion. I think that is self-explanatory.
Wow, that's quite impressive. Yeah. It shows how free you want to be in thinking.
Yeah, I want to be free. Yeah. Freedom is something you can't buy with any amount of money. I once wrote a paper on when Wole Soyinka won
the Nobel
and
Nobel
the
Prize.
president of Cameroon congratulated Babangida, the president of Nigeria,
for giving him.
No, that was a Nobel. It was not.
Okay, because he was just a native of Nigeria.
But my problem is that if Wole Soyinka had been Cameroonian, he would not have lived to even win an award, because there's no freedom for people to write what they're thinking. So if you don't let people free, then their minds cannot work freely, cannot develop. I mean, you need a free society for a Wole Soyinka to exist.
That's true.
A Wole Soyinka cannot exist in a society which is not free.
That's true.
If people are not allowed to think freely, then they can't excel in thinking. Wole Soyinka won the Nobel because he was writing freely.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
So it was just hypocrisy.
I think so. We are very hypocritical at times.
For him to be thanking Babangida for doing something he is not permitting.
Yeah, that cannot exist in
Cameroon.
In our own land, you know. That's that. I like to be free. I like to think freely.
Okay.
I like, because people who are not free cannot live a fulfilling life. If you are afraid to voice what is in you, I don't think you will be a fulfilled citizen.
No, you can't. You always be afraid, frightened, and not fulfilled.
That's part of the reason we are not developing. Because we are not thinking freely. People need to think freely for development to be. People need to ask questions. People need to say, even I'm a father of children. If one started asking many questions, that one is not an enemy. He's always trying to learn. He's always trying to learn more. It's dangerous to lead people who are not asking questions. If people are not asking questions, it means that there's something they are not saying.
Okay.
Because if you see a lot of what is happening in your society, and you are not asking questions about it, then
you're just indifferent.
I think there's some fear.
Okay.
There's some fear.
Thank you for that powerful.
Fear of sanctions or something. Fear to be sanctioned or something.
Then the last powerful Bishop Desmond Tutu, if you are neutral in a situation of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor.
I think so. I agree completely
totally
with the bishop, with the distinguished bishop. He did a lot of work in South Africa and for his church.
Yes.
And you can find him in lots of important quotes like that one. Okay. If you are silent,
it means you're part of it.
You're part of it. Wow. You condone what is going on.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And society won't change.
No.
What people have not understood is that the more people are free to enjoy the benefits of development,
yes,
the more people evolved. Okay. Because there's a difference between growth and a development. Economic growth and economic development.
What's the difference?
Well, when there is growth, it's like a human being.
Okay.
A child can grow and yet not develop. You can find a child so big at 30, but that child is thinking like somebody at 10. That child is growing, but has not developed. Economic growth, when the profits of growth is in the hands of very few, that's growth. When the benefits are spread, I mean, if you build good roads, everybody uses them. You build good hospitals, people use them. You build good schools, everybody uses them. That is development.
Okay.
But if you don't build schools, you don't build hospitals, because a few people get sick and go and fly home to Paris for healthcare, and a few people can build skyscrapers, that is growth. That's not development.
Thank you for that. That's so powerful. We go to a different.
Thank you.
Yeah, we go to a different topic: external examiner and review. I went to this list. I was
and reviewer.
Reviewer, sorry, I was so impressed. Let's begin with the most current and go down. 2024 Research Fellow, University of the Free State, South Africa. So you are
appointed. Yeah, research fellow there.
Wow. And there's some very interesting external assessor, PhD thesis.
Yeah, a few universities have appointed me external evaluator assessor.
Okay.
In other words, I need to read their PhD dissertations and sign on before the universities can award them. Wow. Yeah.
Interesting. That's quite impressive. You've done a lot. 2023. A lot of candidates I can see here.
Yes.
Very long list.
And then I'm also editor, reviewer for many journals.
Okay. That's quite impressive.
Many scholarly journals, yes.
Yes, I can see here present senior reviewer of the Midwest Organization for Human Services annual conferences. And also the review for the Third World Quarterly.
Those are journals, academic journals.
How do you, distinguished Professor Fonkem, how do you manage your time with all these responsibilities? You're a full-time professor.
It's discipline.
Discipline. Yes. That takes me
to the question of time is a question of time management. Okay. If you are disciplined and you know how to keep a calendar and be disciplined and know that, okay, you have to do this, you have a to-do list and you follow it.
Yes, sir.
I happen to live in a society where people plan out meetings and things like that.
Okay.
So
well scheduled.
I think it's scheduling, but again, let me say, God alone makes it happen, because He gives you the time, the energy, and the scheduling, and the discipline to abide by what you have scheduled to do. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, talking right now with you, I have about 4
articles.
No, 4. Well, I'm writing 4 different books.
Okay.
I'm writing 3 articles, and I have 4 dissertations
to go through
to read and report on.
Not only read, but report on. Write a report.
Yeah, of course. Every university sends you copies of
the thesis.
Of the thesis, you have to
read and write a report
and say why you think they should award the degree for that student or not.
I'm so impressed of the distinguished professor, Achankeng I. I was impressed by your publications.
Oh,
some of your books that really caught my attention was your recent book, Refugee, Forced Migrants, and Human Tragedies, yes. An Interdisciplinary Critical Perspective.
I watch videos, okay, especially from people from Sudan and Syria.
I see.
People drowning in the Mediterranean. Oh. And I started wondering, how can wars make people leave home and perish the way people perish at sea in the Mediterranean or in the Sahara Desert? That was where I had the inspiration to do that book. Okay. Forced migration, because people migrate, they are forced. Okay. Nobody migrates because he wants to migrate.
It's because of the situation.
Yes. Pushing people out. In migration studies, there is a famous theory, the push-pull theory of migration. Okay. There's always something pushing people out. There's something pulling people into some place. There's something that pushes you out of your country, yes, original country. There's something that pulled you into your host country. We call that the push-pull theory of migration. So there's always something pushing people out. And the risks,
yes, are so many.
And that's why the title of that book, Forced Migrants, Human Tragedies.
Tragedies.
Yes, and because they're terrible, there are so many tragedies.
I saw the book in your library. I'll be happy if you have taken me to so many places already of your palace, and I feel uncomfortable pleading you to take me to your library before we close the session, so that our viewers can really see the books. Okay. Because they are there. I saw them, and I was so impressed. Okay. So they can see the copies.
There are few books. Well, we have a small library at home.
Okay.
The main library is in the office at the university.
Which I have been there.
Okay, so.
And I was impressed.
Yeah, so many of our books are out there, and I feel here. Okay. We think that learning is continuous. Okay. If you stop learning, you just die. Okay. Learning should be every day, and we hope to continue learning until
they do us back.
Yeah, until our time comes.
It's an interesting book. Distinguished Professor Fonkem Achankeng I. You have. I just like the topic. Porcupine in a python's throat.
Yeah. Well, that has to do with the Amazonia story. If you see the Amazonia story, it's like a python tried to swallow a porcupine, which is stuck there. It doesn't go down, it doesn't go out.
So the python is the French La République.
I think so.
But let's be very frank about this and call it spade.
Yeah, that's what we think. It's because the two Cameroons were different from World War I. Okay. They were all Class B trust territories of the United Nations.
Okay. We were all independent.
Yes. And then French Cameroon got independence. British Cameroon, when her own time came, the British and the UN asked them to accede to independence by joining. And then they joined, and rather than evolve the way they were, which was a federation, La République has tried to completely obliterate. And that's why there's a problem there now. if only we could understand and get together to say no. It's like your wife says the furniture in this home is not good enough. Let us rearrange your home, and some people think that no, why are you even talking about? So that I think that's
the problem.
That's the focus in that book.
I see. So they think that you should not even talk about. Are
Yes.
you a slave?
No,
Exactly.
It's not in. I don't think it is. Like I said, if people can't talk,
yes,
then
also,
you can't even develop.
Also, that's true. That's a serious issue.
I personally, I think that there didn't have to be a war.
Okay. The Anglophone war, which has killed
so many
almost
people,
6,000.
With a lot of suffering. I don't know whether that's the number, but
more than, I think.
There should not even have been a war, because people complain. It's like a marriage.
Okay.
When two people get together, there's no way they will not disagree. There's just no way. When two people live together, they are bound to disagree
from time to time.
So what is important is, how do they address the issue they disagree over? That they would disagree is just normal.
And natural.
And natural. You disagree with your parents.
Of course.
You disagree with your children. You disagree with your parents. You disagree with your wife. Nations disagree. What is important is not that there is a disagreement. What is important is how you address the disagreement. This is my position over what is happening in Cameroon. Yeah.
And the English speakers wanted to address it. I remember there was a peaceful protest in accordance with the law, the lawyers. But they were arrested and beaten. You know, this is so sad.
Those are some points of the disagreement that we're talking about.
Okay.
The English people think that you can sit together and talk about a difference.
Exactly.
The other side thinks that you cannot. You dare not even try to step out to protest.
No.
That's one point of disagreement.
And it is going to 8 years. His Imperial Majesty. That's so sad.
That is sad. Because war doesn't pay anybody. I went to secondary school.
Yes, bro.
And Father Cunningham's principle was, when two fight, two are wrong.
Okay.
When two students
are fighting,
they were punished first before he heard the case, and then punish the wrongdoer a second time.
Okay.
When two fight, two are wrong. And then when two children or two people fight, nobody wins a fight. If you saw two of your friends fight,
yes,
somebody pulls blood from his teeth. Another person has his clothes torn. So who has won?
Nobody, because both of them have all.
Yeah, and again, it is not even good for disagreement to get to fight.
Wow. Okay.
Because that's not the conflict. Okay. Conflict is disagreement.
Yes, well.
War is disagreement left unresolved.
Conflict is disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
War is conflict left unresolved.
Yes.
Wow.
Because when you don't resolve a disagreement,
it leads to
a
war.
To violence, which is war.
Okay.
And then it becomes more complicated. Because now you are not resolving the disagreement that existed. Now, many things have happened because of the war.
Oh, it's true. Houses
destroyed. War is another stage of conflict.
Which is a worse state. Right?
It's a worse. Generally, we should not even allow our disagreements to turn violent. Okay. A wise family leader, a wise community leader makes sure that disagreement does not turn conflict.
That's quite.
This is the way I see it.
You see it from an academic person.
I study conflicts. I study conflicts. Mm-hmm. If somebody is saying that, this thing is not going right.
Yes,
we should be looking forward to addressing what they think is not going right,
as intellectuals,
rather than letting everything degenerate into war. Virtually nobody is winning.
Nobody wins.
Nobody
both
wins.
sides are suffering.
Both sides suffer.
Both sides.
When two fight, two are wrong.
2 hours. Thank you for that. We thank Father Cunningham for.
Yeah, that was Father Cunningham.
For it's another interesting book you wrote. After the rain began, back up. No. That's where it was published. Crime, Second Chances, and Human Services, creating a pathway to ordinary life for the convicted.
Well, I live here in the United States.
Okay,
where there is no free lunch.
No free lunch?
No.
You've never been invited by...
Nobody gives you a meal for free in this country.
That's so sad.
Well, that's the way it is.
Okay.
But my problem is not even there.
Oh.
My problem is that
yes, it is.
In this society that I live, when once you have a criminal record,
it's over.
It's over for you.
Oh.
And my question is, in a society where nobody has a free meal, if now somebody has a criminal record,
yes, how does he survive?
How does he survive when he can't work, he can't vote, he can't do anything to help himself because the criminal system here is so bad. We just said this is winter.
Exactly.
I live in Wisconsin where the winters are very harsh and people drive and get their cars into ditches.
Yes,
if we help the neighbor to pull out a car, why don't we help you to pull back human beings? If somebody committed an offense, he has been sentenced to prison for 10 years.
And he has done
He has served the sentence.
Okay.
He comes out, you don't allow him to have a job because he has a criminal background. How do you want him to live? And if he's a family member, that's why here people come out and they prefer to go back.
Okay.
Because there they have a free meal. That's why the justice system here is so fraught.
Okay.
And the prisons are so full.
Oh, and that does not help the human being to grow.
That's why I've said, why don't we give people second chances?
Or even third.
Even third.
Yes.
I've quoted Pope Francis there at length.
Okay.
Because he says, we have all dirtied our hands. All human beings. I mean, Jesus Christ said, let the person who did not commit the sin throw the first stone. Is it just because somebody was selling drugs? How about the corporate big man who steals all the money?
Exactly. Are they not all criminals?
Are they not all criminals? But then that's not even where I quarrel with.
Okay.
My quarrel is if we can help pull the ditches of neighbors when in the winter they slide into the gutters.
Why not?
Why not pull human beings? Why don't you give them a second chance in life? I teach human services, and people leave prison and you won't allow them in the university because they have a criminal record. What the heck? What kind of society are we?
And nothing has changed in date.
No. That is the problem. That's the focus of that book. Maybe we need to end this interview.
Yes.
Well, I have another meeting.
Yes. Let's just conclude. There's another important one. British Southern Cameroon's nationalism and conflict in post-colonial Africa. Is it still about...
It's about the British... that book was published like in... I've forgotten when. Long before the war.
I see. Left war. Because this one, I think this is your first cultural book. Left war in Libya.
Yes.
Decline or transformation?
Yeah, from 2002, I published my first article titled The Decline of Libya.
Okay.
And people critique me a lot. And I said,
Why?
well, they said, how could I be a ruler and then I'm critiquing the war? I said, I'm doing it because I love it.
Exactly.
And I see the image declining so much.
Okay, the dignity.
The dignity is no longer there. And so some people started saying, no, it is a transformation, times are changing. So that's why I wrote a book to say, is it truly decline as I postulate? Or is it just changing? Yeah. And if it is changing, for those who think it is changing, in what direction is that change? Okay. Well, most people have come back to me to say you are right. It is even getting worse by the day. The decline is getting worse by the day. Oh. Mm-hmm.
That's so sad to hear.
So thank you so much for coming. I greatly appreciate this interview and time to talk with you.
His Imperial Majesty, I Achankeng I, Distinguished Professor Fonkem, I'm so grateful for the time you've given, almost a whole day, for this. You've granted this interview. We began outside. I wanted to see the terrain where you've been for 25 years. Totally different from where you were born, from your urban origins. Mm-hmm. It was a wonderful way to begin this day.
Thank you.
You did not end at the interview. You took me around the palace, and I'm extremely grateful. Thank you so much for having been such a witness and such an example.
Thank you for coming for thousands of miles to come here for this interview.
My honor.
Really appreciate.
Thank you so much. Yeah. May you live long and may your palace will continue to reign forever.
Thank you. Very much appreciated, son. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So, my dear viewers, we've come to the end of this extensive and exclusive interview. Thank you very much for having connected, and I hope it encourages you, if you're a student, to work hard, if you are an African, to be a lover of culture, because that is what makes us to be who we are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A friend in the University of South Dakota said it yesterday at Christmas and said, you are a great model for the younger generations.
Exactly.
Because what you are doing, being a top-notch academic and
a culture, leader, and a custodian of culture,
you are telling younger people that both are doable.
They are doable, and you have done it.
Thank you.
You have done it and excelled.
Thank you.
Outstandingly.
Thank you.
My dear viewers, it's exactly 5:20 p.m. Wisconsin State in the U.S.
Central Standard Time.
Central Time, and we're going to put an end to this interview. Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to connecting with you in the future. And I would like, before I forget, His Imperial Majesty, could you say something about the New Year? This is a special season, Christmas and New Year.
We just had Christmas, and we pray to God Almighty that we will all live to see the New Year 2025.
Amen.
And that God's blessings will be abundant on all of you who are watching.
Amen.
We thank God Almighty and thank you, the interviewer.
You're most welcome.
Yeah,
my dear viewers, on behalf of the Nchumbonga Lekelefac Institute of Research, Documentation, Language and Culture, we are happy to put an end to this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Imperial Majesty.
You're welcome.